Hey guys, Vindy here. Let's quickly look at gold and also the US 30 Dow Jones. Of course, make sure that you like this video. If you like this video, of course, let's get this video to 500 likes. I'd really appreciate it. Make sure that you understand risk management. Always use a stop loss. Right into it. Starting right here with gold. This is the gold chart, the weekly chart. Okay, the weekly chart, this is looking all good, all nga. Let's start by doing this. Let me make room a bit. Let's start by highlighting structures. What do I mean by structures? Of course, by this I am referring to support and of course the resistance. Okay, collectively I just call this structures. So if you hear me saying structures, I'm referring to support and resistance. Okay, so the type of structures that we can draw is trend lines, and we can also be able to draw horizontal structures. That's what I'm gonna use on these particular videos. No dynamic structures, no funny calculated structures, just these two, trend lines and horizontal support and resistance. Starting by looking at this chart nicely, if we mark this particular point right here and this one right here, if we connect the two, that will give us a trend line. The equation of a straight line, you only need 2 points. And if you look at the trend line right here, let's say round about this point, there was a very rejection of the trend line. And if you look now where price is, it is back at that particular trend line, meaning that we are currently sitting at somewhere around the support structure. You can call this maybe an area of let's see, an area of liquidity of some sort. Those who are dealing with your supply and demand, that could be your demand zone around that point. So we're back at the trend line. This is the weekly chart on gold. Okay, this is the support trend line. So what do we want to do? Do we buy? Do we sell? Okay, at this particular point, I'd like to look for opportunities. Keyword is opportunities to buy all the way back to the upside. We have already decided on weekly. Coming here to the daily chart. This is the gold daily chart once more. I'm just doing a top-down analysis, nothing more. Once more, let's highlight our structures, key structures. We can see that particular zone there, it's most likely to play out, okay, because price is right there on that zone. Don't forget the previous trend line. It's not the same as this one. This one's the one that was broken on a Friday, and we could see price going back for a retest, for a pullback. Okay, so we want to capitalize on that pullback, hence the weekly structure is supporting us to buy, and we might come back to this particular supply zone around that particular moment. That's just the daily. If we come here, the H4, again, it's the same. Let's highlight our structures. This is the H4 chart. If we start by highlighting our structures here, this is again another zone that we have, and it is looking okay. The same trend line that I just showed you on daily, now it's looking much better. We could see that sort of a pullback all the way to retest that. There's a minor zone right there. There's a minor zone up there. But if I mark this point, of course, and also mark this one, what do we see? Collectively, these 2 points are what is this? Remember, we're governed by this. That's where the buyers are coming from the support trend line. The daily and this one, H4, is just giving us a double bottom, which you can use as some sort of a confirmation right there. That is that. Is this video helpful so far? Let me know. Give this video a like if you like this kind of content. This video is much longer than the ones that I've done before, and it takes a bit of effort. Just give me a like even if you don't like me. Okay, this is the US 30 now. This is the weekly chart on the US 30, aka Dow Jones. Okay, so again, what do we do? What have we done on the previous one? We're looking at, of course, you've guessed it. What was it? Structures, of course, collectively, like I said, this is the horizontal support and resistance, and what not. And your trend line, support and resistance. Same stuff, only identify 2 points. This is just going to tell us where this thing is heading, uptrend. But if you look at where that candle is, it's a little bit far away from the trend line support, which is this one. So I'm gonna stay away from buys for now, unless if price comes back to retest this trend line. Okay, so if I zoom, you can see price is on top of that range. If you watch the previous video that I've done on Nasdaq, it's almost the same shandis. We're sitting on that range resistance. We are sitting at the resistance. Keep that in mind. The support is a little bit far. Coming down to daily, if we look at it, this is the daily chart once more. Daily chart. So that trend line is far. If we come down to daily, we can see that price is sitting on top right here. of that particular resistance of some sort. Okay, so if we mark this point right here, let me highlight that resistance, or we mark this one, we can get a trend line, right? Or you can just draw your zones around it. So if you cannot connect this, you can see what we're getting. We're getting that weird trend line, nice trend line, and price right now it's currently around this point. This is what we're gonna search for opportunities. Keyword once more, to sell opportunities. That's where strategies are gonna come in, because this is the resistance level. Okay, we might see a drop, nice drop all the way to the downside, probably towards this. Let me mark this point, probably towards this particular point right here. Let me mark even this one. This is looking yes, I can more a trend line nicely, more that like button while I'm still mooring the trend line, more that like button, more it. There's the trend line, and of course we could drop, we might drop all the way to this particular one, but right now we're governed by the fact that we're on resistance. It will be very wise for us to look for opportunities to sell. Going much further to the H4 chart, again this is the US30 in case you forgot. Structures, that's another structure that you might take into consideration, but it's a little bit far away. The only structure that we can look at could be this one again, which is the support structure. We are above it, so we can use it as a target. So if price drops down, we're gonna use this as a target. You can see some sort of a zone around that developing around that particular structure. That could be a demand zone, right? Your demand zone if you're doing your supplies and demand and all that chandies, right? And then we could see price going all the way back to the upside, but the first one is to sell, then we come back to this demand, and then we're good to go. Let me show you using harmonics. This is just gonna be the last part. The harmonics on H1, we might see let me see how I can break this one down. We can see that price failed to actually pass that particular level, and that specific level is basically somewhere around 78-88% region for the candle, for the rejection candle, specifically for the rejection. And stop losses, I know that a bunch of stops are hidden outside that particular candle, and we could see price coming back to retest this particular 88.6 region, 78.6 region Kanashandis, right? Stops, as I've said, outside, above, on top there. So we could see price doing that, but I want to highlight this trend line. This is what I call the XB trend line. If you've seen me doing a bit of your W's and whatnot, this XB trend line, we're going to use it as a target. Okay, that will be our target trend line. Should we get an opportunity to sell, we're targeting that XB trend line. Let me know, was that hard? And from here, the demand area that I've highlighted before, we could see buyers again pushing all the way back up from this particular demand area. Was that hard? Was that so hard? Let me know if it was hard. Let me know if this is now content, if I should do longer videos like this. Then we could find buying opportunities from that demand area. Just let me know if you like this. Kanashandis. If you don't, watch this video that I've done here about Nasdaq and what mentors are not telling you specifically about Nasdaq. And if you've been watching, I mean, maybe you like what I've just said, consider clicking here to subscribe on this particular round tab. Okay, did I leave anything? Except yeah, drop me a comment. Otherwise, sharp